Is the Nike Cosmic Unity 3 worth the $160 retail price? I mean, the Cosmic Unity 2 was one of my favorite basketball shoes to release last year. Let's see if these are as good or better. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be testing out the cushion, traction, support, basically just all the performance aspects for this shoe. But first I'll go ahead and touch on some of the basic info. So this is the third model to come out of this Cosmic Unity line. The first two were retailing for $160, and unlike most other shoe lines, the threes actually did keep that same price at $160, which is going to be pretty average whenever it comes to basketball shoes. It's kind of maybe ranging on the slightly higher side, but unlike the price, Nike has really made it a point to just change the look of each model like dramatically. The Cosmic Unity 1 had like this crater look to the midsole. It was on the side and it showed up on the heel. The Unity 2 actually reminded me a little bit of like a fish skeleton. I did get the cream colorway, so that might have made a little bit of a difference, but this year looks even more like unique comparatively anyways to those other models. And Chase was actually saying in our first impressions video that the upper reminded him of like an Air Max 97, and that was the first thing I thought of too. Like the waves on the upper definitely has more of that retro vibe, if you want to call it that. And in this top section, you're going to see some text that actually says "As one we win," which happens to be the colorway name for this specific color scheme. And that's going to be built into the midsole. You're going to see another little logo. That's like that Move to Zero logo. And this is one of Nike's shoe lines that is going to be made up with at least some recycled content and some capacity. And I'm always a fan of that. But just to hit on a few other pieces on this design, you're going to get some pink Nike text on the tongue there. And then from the heel, you're going to see that same writing kind of show up. You're going to see "As one" there on the left heel. And then you're going to see "We win" finishes off that slogan on the right. So clearly some changes to the design on this year. But now we can move on to see how they hold up on the court. So now getting into more of the tech specs and the performance side of things, and starting off with the cushioning, it does look like Nike did make some changes to the actual setup for this model. After using like just a full-length Air Zoom Strobel in the twos, the Cosmic Unity 3 has some inserted foam in the midsole that is made to give you just like better balance and offer a cloud-like cushioning and stability to play at all speeds while also keeping you lower to the ground to help increase quickness. That's basically how Nike lays it out there for you. And right from the jump, you can just tell a noticeable difference in the cushion if you played in the twos. So part of the reason that I liked the Cosmic Unity 2 so much was just the springy forefoot. Like the Air Zoom Strobel setup was bouncy, and I tend to like models like that a little bit more. But like Nike said, these offer more of a balanced feel. I want to say, if anything, you notice a little bit more padding in the for cushion in the heel than you do in the front half. So I would expect a little bit more break-in time on these. It took me a day or two to loosen up in the threes, but that surrounding padding is pretty solid. But using our durometer to check out the midsole, these were reading at a 47.5, and that is a little bit more firm than average. But I mean, for a $160 shoe, that's probably all about the cushion is going to be for you pretty average. Like I at least prefer the Cosmic Unity 2s whenever it comes to just like the cushioning alone. So now getting into more of the materials and the support, I think I mentioned it for a second in the appearance, but this is one of Nike's products where they use at least some percentage of recycled material to make up the design. And I actually read the other day that Nike got hit with like a lawsuit over this type of thing, maybe like for making false claims about what's actually being used or like how much is being used. I guess either way, I guess it's not really my job to get into that. I can only provide what they tell me. And it says here, they actually send you a little card. It says here that the Cosmic Unity 3 model is made up with at least 20% recycled content. But the overall materials and like the setup changed a lot from the previous model, just like the cushioning setup did, I guess. So the Unity 3s are going to be using a midfoot fly mesh that hugs the midfoot to help keep you contained. Then Nike also added a newly implemented Flyknit collar that's made to be plush and supportive just to help build confidence, all while reducing the weight of the shoe to help increase lightweight agility. And the Flyknit's there to give you like a flexible, comfortable like material that moves and contorts to your foot just to complement the fly mesh. And that's basically how Nike lays it out for you. I know that was a lot to like probably digest, but honestly, the upper is a little bit weird on this model from what I've found. Like the Flyknit, you're going to see that on the outside, and that typically does help keep a shoe on the lighter side, but it feels like this Flyknit is resting on top of another layer, like Nike says. It's going to make you feel more secure, but all this is going to add on to the weight of the shoe. So a size 10.5 weighs 486 grams. That's getting closer to the heavier side for basketball shoes, and that's up almost 100 grams from the previous model. The Unity 2s were like 398 or something like that. So I didn't love that aspect of that, this model, but when it comes to support, that does end up being the strongest part for this shoe, in my opinion. Even with there not being a ton of support features, this new look upper that Nike Nike implemented. I mean, it does give you a more secure feel. I just wish they accomplished all that with them weighing a little bit less. Finishing off with the traction, once again, the pattern is totally different from last year's model. Nike labels this as a thin, durable outsole made out of rubber to help provide the on-court traction that you need. I guess in reality, both models, like the 2s and the 3s, ended up being different pretty much all the way around, but you're just going to be able to tell this is not going to be organized. There's no arrows or lines really anywhere to be found on there. But traction is another spot on the Cosmic Unity 3 where they just feel pretty average. Like the first thing we do whenever recording the traction shot, I mean, we tried to film that and I went sliding like I was trying to score from third. The court was a little bit dirty though. They were catching the floor better than that, kind of, exemplified, but the overall traction experience just kind of reminded me of the Jordan 37 where they were just sort of like inconsistent. But this just isn't going to be a very sticky model, and that is backed by our squeak test where they did make pretty much no noise. But the grooves are going to be durable and make these an outdoor option to play in for sure. But finishing off with sizing, I went true to size, and that is what I would recommend on these. You don't have a ton of room left over for the length, maybe like half a thumb's width, but at the same time, this is going to be a wider shoe. So if you like extra space to play in, especially lengthwise, you may want to go at most like a half size up. But overall, I'm sure I didn't do a great job of hiding it. I just like the Cosmic Unity 2s more than I'm feeling these 3s. Like, of course, I do love the recycled content concept as always, but honestly, they just didn't hit as much as far as the look goes. And normally I like these out there models. The look didn't really hit for me this year. Cushion and traction are going to be pretty average. It's also a little bit of a heavy model. So is the Nike Cosmic Unity 3 worth the $160 retail price? It's right around there, but it definitely doesn't outplay it. Thank you guys for taking some time to watch. Feel free to throw us a follow or a sub if you like this video. And if you're interested in buying the Nike Cosmic Unity 3 and you want to support our channel, just click the link here on screen, or we have links down below or in our bio. So feel free to check that out. But until next review, I'm Landon from Shoewear. Peace.